Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here on this Tuesday. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592, the physical delivery of wealth insurance. And it's something, you know what, I think people are starting to figure it out. You know, gold and silver, when I started here at Patriot getting old, 20 plus years ago, most people that were buying gold and silver, they were the wackos. I used to call them the tinfoil helmet wearers, lived in the basement and at the family function, at Thanksgiving or Christmas. That's just your crazy uncle. That's your grandma. Yeah, your grandma. She's she's a child of the Great Depression or whatever it may be, right? She's got a few screws loose, and no one took you very serious. As we get ready to start the holiday season once again, I don't think there's going to be a single person sitting at the Thanksgiving table, sitting at the Christmas table, that thinks you're crazy at all. If you said, "Oh yeah, I'm buying some gold and silver," or "I'm thinking about buying gold and silver." Matter of fact, I would venture to say that most of the people would be like, "You know what? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it too." There's been a huge shift in the attitudes towards gold and silver, and especially, you know what? Here's what's going to be funny. Wait till you see what it's going to cost. Things are it's so outrageous now. I'll give you a great example. So yesterday, I get in my car, and I hit the button, because, it's a button, and the car doesn't start. The dash flashes the wrench sign, check the engine. And I'm like, "Oh, please, please, please." And I take, because I don't know what to do, right? What do you do? I take my key fob, lock, unlock, say a couple of prayers, and I hit the button again, and it started it gave me one more start. And we all know what that means. Time for a new battery, right? And I go and I bring it to the place I go, and I always bring my car there. No, I don't go to the dealer. Always bring my car there. And I said, "Hey, can you? I think it's the battery. Check it out, and then can you change the oil?" Sure enough, yep. Need a new battery. Gonna change the oil. I go to pay. It was $327, and I must have had this look on my face. And Shannon, her husband Craig, own the place. They're great people. They've been here with us for 18 years now they've been here. She said, "You know what, Joe?" She goes, I the last time you needed a battery, it was $99. The battery part, just the battery. Forget about the install, just the battery. $198. And she says to me, she goes, "Joe, everything has doubled. Just take what the price was in 2020 before COVID and double it." She goes, "And that's everything, every repair we do, 100% increase in price, if not more." And Jason, this is why so many people are like, buying gold and silver doesn't sound so ridiculous anymore.
Yeah, and for people that don't make that connection, why is your expensive, oil change and new battery, what does that have to do with gold and silver? It's because the average person, not everybody, the average person saves money. And if everything's going like Joe is saying, things are doubling in price, then you have to have savings in a place that doubles with it. That's why everyone's starting to figure out gold and silver. If you're listening for the first time, you don't quite get why we talk about how expensive everything is, what that pertains to gold and silver. Because, Joe, I think a lot of people have it in their mind that gold is a purchase. It's like buying a car battery. But gold and silver is not like buying a car battery. Gold and silver is an exchange of currency for money. Currency is paper money, it's fiat. Money is gold and silver. And so what you're doing is you're preserving the value of that. The $20 gold piece bought a whole cow for over a century. Now the $20 gold piece still buys you the whole cow. But the $20 bill, which also used to buy you the cow, now can't even get you the steak dinner, Joe. That's why you put money in gold and silver.
You know, that's a great point. Yeah, think about that. All the way up until 1933. $20 gold piece, $20 bill, cow, all the same price. The cow's no different. The gold piece is no different. The only thing that's different is what the $20 bill will buy you. And as Jason said, not only can you not buy the whole cow, right? You can't even get a steak dinner for $20. Yep. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And this is exactly what people are doing. If you look at it, and I get it, so many people, right? Well, I've got money sitting in the bank. Well, my bank account, it says $100,000, right? And it says it every single month. Well, think about the difference in that $100,000 in the last just 20 years. Difference in the $100,000 in 20 years. We're going to talk about that when we get back. (800-951-0592), Joe and Jason, and we're just gotta adjust my seat here. I'm shrinking. Just talking about, you know, what is it when you're buying gold? What are you really doing? Right? You know, people, but Jason, well, people think of it. Well, I'm making a purchase. I'm making an investment. I'm making whatever it may be. And really, what you're really doing when you're buying gold is you're essentially, yeah, it's savings, but you're essentially saying, hey, I think the value of the money that's in my wallet, the value of the money that's in my bank account is going to depreciate significantly enough that no matter the interest that the bank pays me, which right now is, you know, it's a little better, but it's still, you know, nowhere close to what inflation is. I want to be able to buy a cow for the same amount of money 20 years later, 100 years later. So 2003, that's just when I started. It's not like I'm not randomly trying to pick a date that's best for gold or worse, you know, just, hey, this is when I started. The price of gold was $300. Right now, the price of gold is $1,900, right now $1,925. So when you, if you had bought gold then, essentially you're up 640%. The median price of a home in 2003 was right around $150,000. Right? Today, the median price of a home is what? $450 to about $450,000. Right? So it's up about 300%. To give you an idea, ready for this? A dozen eggs. I love this one. $1.24. Eggs have come down. Okay? They've come down to like $7 now, right? I mean, and again, you can buy, I guess, the cheaper eggs for maybe like $5, Jason, right? But, you know, the kind my wife buys, it's like $7. White bread was $1. And we don't buy a lot of bread at my house. We don't eat. We try not to eat a lot. And if we do, we're buying the whole grain type of bread. A loaf of bread's like $6. I mean, it's insanity. Sliced bacon. God, I love bacon. $3.20. Sliced bacon now, I don't know, it's probably double that, triple that. Round steak was $3.84 a pound. You could afford a steak dinner in 2003 with the $20. A pound of potatoes wasn't even 50 cents. And then a gallon of milk was $2.76. We just bought some milk. Milk's like $6. But this is why you put money into gold. I always like to call it wealth insurance. And what did I mean by wealth insurance? All I mean is over time, gold's going to keep you whole. Could you imagine if you went 20 years in a row and you just had $100,000 in your bank, just kept it there? You know what? I like that $100,000 in my bank account, and month after month, year after year, you had $100,000. In 2003, you could buy almost you actually could buy a house for $100,000 in 03. May not have been the nicest house, may not have been the biggest house, may have been on the outskirts of town, but you could have done it. The average price of an automobile, right? We're talking like below $15,000. Below $15,000. Right? You could have bought 6, 7. If you bought newly used, heck, you probably could have bought 10 cars. Now what can you buy? One. You know what? Maybe some newly used cars. Maybe you can buy 2 or 3 at the most. If you want less than 100,000 miles. Imagine, though, if you had that $100,000 in gold. Right? All of a sudden now, obviously 03 just so happened to be, that's a pretty good time because you could actually buy an entire house if at 300, and let's just say a 20 was like 350. I want to say the first 20 I sold may have actually been like 335, but 350. You'd have been able to buy 285 of those $20 gold pieces today. I mean, you'd have over $600,000. Right? You'd still be able to buy all those cars. You'd still be able to buy, hey, listen, even in this town, $625,000 gets you a pretty decent house. I mean, you're not living in North Scottsdale. Okay, you're not living in North Scottsdale. But you can live in a pretty good neighborhood with $625,000. That's what gold does. You're saving your money. Truly putting money in the bank. You're not saving money in the bank. That's not savings. That's a lie. They call it, but Joe, they say savings. I got a savings account. It's a lie. Why is it a lie? Well, let's see. First of all, they tell you that they want 2% inflation. That's what they say. What does that mean? Well, we want your $100,000 to buy 2% less. That's our nirvana, right? That's our happy spot. And they got all these channels dedicated. If you've got DirecTV, channel 360, 359, 358, 357, 355, 353. I may be missing a couple. They're all dedicated to making you believe this is a great thing. Isn't that great? Now, of course, what's the problem right now? So here's the problem with that. First of all, with that, the bank doesn't pay you any interest. Right, gosh, we know that, don't we? Oh, yeah. How much interest were you getting in your quote-unquote savings account up until a year and a half ago? Let me tell you, nothing. Right? And, of course, there's that, well, inflation, it's not quite 2%. We just can't get it to 2%. Of course, they weren't actually tracking inflation. Didn't matter that they weren't. Fast forward to today. I mean, they admit that core CPI is 4.1%. Of course, we know that's not true. That's not true at all. It's not even close to true. Right? We're probably lucky if it's under 10. By the way, food prices, get ready. They're going way up again. I'm just telling you, people are going to be shocked come Thanksgiving.
Let me say something about food. You won't even believe what I did yesterday. And I don't even know if I believe it, but some people listening might say, well, the prices haven't gone up that much on certain things. And Joe, I remember before the current years of inflation, talking about the 2%, the 2%, the 2% every year. And especially just since the Fed's been here and since World War II, just everything goes up. Nothing ever stays the same. Prices never go down unless it's technology and they find a cheaper way to build the TV. But regardless, things have been cheapened. We talk about, especially on the next show, the Half Empty Cup of Joe, but on this show too, how cheapened and low quality everything from healthcare to food to medicine and everything. So maybe a loaf of bread hasn't quite gone up the same as the house or gold, Joe, but actually I'm going to say it is. Joe, I don't know about you, when I was younger, and especially our parents, people didn't have gluten allergies. Do you ever hear about gluten allergies when you were kids? Nobody was gluten sensitive. It's because they make the bread different. I actually came across, I love bread, but I try to eat the gluten-free bread, which has different weird stuff in it. And I try to eat regular bread, which has gluten in it. And I can feel if I eat this kinds of breads, it does affect me. I don't feel as good when I eat bread like when I used to. When I was younger, I'd eat bread, no problem. Some people might say, well, that's because of age. No, they have cheapened bread so much just so they can get you the $3 or the $2 loaf of bread. So I found this company. It's out of Florida, right? I was looking for some bread that I saw in a documentary I was watching where it's, hey, in Italy they have this sourdough type of bread they eat, which has gluten in it, but by eating it, because it's the right kind of bread, it actually lowers your gluten. It actually is nutritious for your body. So I found a company in Florida. They offer loaves of bread. They'll ship it to you. $15, one loaf. It has the wheat, an ancient grain wheat, salt, and water. That's it. $15. It's organic. It's high quality. I get it. But Joe, listen, the only way you're getting a $3 loaf of bread versus the $1 loaf of bread maybe back in 2003 that you're talking about is because they've cheapened everything about it. You are eating things and you're buying things. You're purchasing stuff. Look at the garbage. Look how disposable everything is, Joe. Everything is so much garbage. Our cars are disposable now. I've been driving Toyota Corollas. I drive them because they're disposable. When I was a process server, I'd drive 60,000 miles a year. In 3 years, that car was done. I had to make sure that a car payment was a part of my monthly bills because every 3 years, boom, another Toyota Corolla. And that's inflation. That's hidden inflation, Joe. How cheapened everything is. Hey, just because the car or the loaf of bread might seem like it's not getting too much more expensive versus other things, you're getting a cheaper product. They're cheapening the product, Joe. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. The shrinkflation is going to go mad, I think, over the next year, Joe. The 1 ounce bag of chips is going to be how much a 6 ounce bag of chips used to be in 2020, right?
You bring up a really great point. The mega box of cereal. And then they have the family. So then they have the regular. So regular's the smallest, then the family, then the mega. The mega box was the regular box when I was growing up. The small box now, the small box, you're lucky to get 4 bowls of cereal out of that thing. And to Jason's point, well, we're trying to get you a box of cereal that's still under $5. Well, the only problem is there's no damn cereal in it. Right?
Right.
But when you're buying gold, this is what you're doing. You're making a decision. Ask yourself, with all the debt, that should be almost 34 trillion. I mean, we'll be over 34 trillion here before the end of the year. By the end of next year, what are we talking about? 37? 37 trillion? The year after that, it's going to be over 40. Look at right now. Retail sales were up 0.7%. Wall Street's so upset about it. Right? And people were, obviously were there buying cars before the strike. Gas prices shot up, right? We get all that, but you know what? Inflation's not going away. Homes, it's the worst housing market of our generation. And the houses are still going up. Yeah. Time to take some of that savings and get it into something that really holds its value. $800-951-0592. Yeah, the bank's probably the worst place to have your money because you're not saving anything at all. The question is simply, how much are you willing to lose? I know it still says 100,000. Just doesn't buy anything anymore. Quick look in at the markets. It's mixed here. The Dow's up 20. The S&P is flat. The Nasdaq's negative. We'll see how it ends up. It's been down most of the day. The 10-year note, 4.82. So rising again. That's off the highs. It's been as high as 4.85 today. Oil down a few cents right now, $86 and change. Gold's up 4 at 19 and a quarter. Silver's having a great day, up 26 cents here, $23 in change. And this is why we talk about why refi too, right? Up to 10.25% return, right? So you think about what the bank's paying you. Right, they're not paying anybody anywhere close to that. At least you have a fighting chance not to get totally cremated and do some greater good out there. Check them out. InvestYRefy.com. That's the word the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com. Or call them at 888-YREFI24. Remember, right up to 10.25%. It's fixed. It's not correlated to Wall Street. Doesn't care. Right? Everyone's talking about when's the recession coming. Is it this month, next year? You don't have to worry about that anymore. And you get great rates of return. 888-YREFI24. And I said, talking about silver having a great day. Today is the last day here on our Silver Eagle sale. I hope you add to it while you have the opportunity. Rolls of Silver Eagles at $610. You want to save some money, buy a case. Buy more than a case. A case is 25 rolls, 500 ounces, $14,995. And that was a really good deal yesterday. Now you got gold up, or silver up almost 30 cents now. An even better deal today. And then on the gold side, $10 Liberty. So these are the old gold. You know why we like old? Why do we like old gold best? Well, it doesn't cost any more than the new gold, really. Pretty close. And matter of fact, and especially on the fractional side, usually the old gold's cheaper. It's the most private way to own it. What does that mean? Well, you can buy it, sell it, trade it. You don't have to give out your Social Security number. You don't have to get 1099. I mean, how many things can you say that about? Not too many anymore. And it's something where, hey, when they confiscated gold in 1933, only one type of gold you could still own. America went almost, people forget that, went almost 40 years. And it was actually illegal to own it. Why? Well, they didn't want it to compete. They said they knew, gosh, if we keep gold, they won't take the dollar. They won't want the dollar. Of course, Richard Nixon had to close the gold window in 1971 because guess what? The foreigners didn't want dollars for treasuries. They wanted gold. Same thing. Think about what central banks are doing today and how similar it is. I hope you're getting ready here. $10 liberties, 1 through 9, 1,085, 10 or more, 1,080 at 800-951-0592. And Jason, you're just thinking about this. This is the choice you got to ask yourself. What's going to happen to the dollar? Is the debt all of a sudden going to go down? Do we really think? I mean, think about Congress right now. They're trying to get a new Speaker of the House. It doesn't look like Jim Jordan's going to have, though. We can't even get a Speaker of the House, much less a budget. 2 of the 3 rating agencies have already downgraded U.S. Really, all debt needs to be downgraded. And we're talking about, think about the best case scenario of what they're really saying. Well, maybe if we're lucky, Jason, we can have a soft landing. Is that really what you want to bet your money on? This is how screwed up they've made everything. New cars. You're talking about new cars, $100,000. We have the worst. Home builder sentiment came out today. Oh my gosh, is it bad? Buyer traffic's 26. A regular market is 50. So think about how bad that really is. Ask them about, hey, are you going to make sales in the next 6 months? They're at 40. Right? That's like -10. Right? We're going to have the worst annual rate of sales going back decades.
Yeah.
And yet, wait a minute, what? The prices are still going higher? That's how bad they've screwed it up. This is why you need to get this gold and silver put away. You need to do it right now at 800-951-0592, Jason.
Wait till they see next year's sales. It's record bad now. Wait till next year. Joe, we talked before we got in there about the IMF meeting. I was going through some notes taken by somebody that was at the IMF meeting, and point number 3, listen to this. This tells you they know how bad it's going to get. Point number 3 is titled Debt Concerns. Heavy debt burdens in advanced economies, including the United States, China, and Italy, were a recurring topic at these meetings. Financial markets have recently pushed U.S. bond yields higher, causing concern among investors. Some experts suggest that the era of relative economic calm before the 2008-09 financial crisis, known as the Great Moderation, may now be over.
Well, I'm going to give you some more of that. I mean, that was in Morocco over the weekend. Janet Yellen was there. She was trying to get other countries to give more money to the IMF. Because they're like, oh, God, we're going to have to bail out a lot more countries than normal. They didn't get it done. And one of the other things that came up, China's like, hey, wait a minute. We need more. We need a bigger slice of the IMF pie. And America's like, whoa. What do you mean you need more? Well, the last time we did this, it was 2010. Our economy's 3 times bigger now. We want more say. And that's when the meeting ended. That tells you all you need to know about where the dollar's headed. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. (800-951-0592) as Rite Aid filed bankruptcy this week. one of the largest fruit. I don't know if they're a distributor or a producer. They kind of do the whole thing. They supply like Walmart and Kroger. They're one of the major fruit producers in the United States. They just filed for bankruptcy protection in U.S. bankruptcy court. Prima Wawona, headquartered in California, just said, hey, you know what? Costs are too much. Can't afford to make our debt payments, right? We need to restructure. And again, what does this tell you? Food prices aren't going down. Food prices aren't going down. Home prices aren't going down. Car prices aren't going down. Right? It's all just a big make-believe fantasy. Think about 90 days ago. They told us inflation was down to 3%. The headline number. What was it? Was it this week? Last week. Last week. The headline number was 3.7.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it went up like 20% in 90 days. And they're trying to convince you that somehow, miraculously, it's just going to go away. How? How's it going away? I know how. I keep telling you how. How many more times do I need to be right? When did I tell everybody, and I've been telling everybody for 3 years, you know when inflation's going away? When 20 million people lose their job. And guess what? 20 million people haven't lost their jobs. And until that happens, inflation's not going to go away. And even then, you know what? I'm getting a little more nervous. I don't know that the price will go down. But I hope it's going to at least stop going up. I'm hoping that. Think about all these strikes. Kaiser Permanente, Kaiser, 20% increase, 21%. The UAW, they've already offered them 20%. They're like, that's not enough. I mean, the airlines, I just heard the airlines, they're all talking about striking again because, you know what, the pilots got a 30% raise. Well, you know, flight attendants, we got to get our share. How about the people that handle the luggage? They got to get their share. The people doing the tickets, they got to get their cut. Jason, this is something most people, we got to wake up. Right now, we've got a lot of people sleeping right now. And I know, I get it. You're worried about, oh my gosh, the election, Donald Trump, Israel, Ukraine. That's all a smoke screen.
Yeah, you know, if the Fed does not print money, if they keep holding where they're at and they don't print money, at some point, Joe, you'll be right. The prices will stop going up. And then if they hold that position, and that's a big if, then the prices will come down. There'll be the demand destruction that you called for a couple of years ago. But as we were talking this morning, every day I have a lime water. I cut the lime and I go to have the nice juice where you squeeze that thing, right? And I was telling Joe this morning, I'm just seeing things around locally that, you know, they've milked everybody as much as they can. They've squeezed that juice out as much as they can. But when I finish juicing that lime, there's that one last little screw I do to get that last bit of juice out. I think that hasn't happened yet, Joe. I think that's why things still have this kind of calm sort of feeling amongst average people. But once that happens, and that's happening, that's where Joe's talking about the millions of jobs losses and businesses shuttering and things going really bad. And then Joe said, well, just get the prices to stop going up. They would go down, but what I get the feeling is at that moment when we have the actual recession, things are really bad, that they'll probably leave the rates alone, Joe, and they're going to start printing. And then you can't get the prices to go down. If they print in the middle of this, which might be something they have to do, they shouldn't do, the prices won't be able to go down, Joe. They're still going up just because what they did in 2020. All that money they printed, it's just still floating around a little bit.
Think about this. The housing bubble. Gold went from 300 to 700. Then the financial crisis hit. Well, it was getting ready to hit. Gold went to 1,050. And then, right as Lehman Brothers went on, gold actually went down like $300. And that's a lot. That was like 30%. The stock market went down 50%. But of course, gold immediately rebounded and essentially doubled. It went from 1,000 to 2,000. We're going to double again. This is where we're sitting. We're right here. You know, the problem is it's so different this time because people just are sitting there in shell shock about what things cost. I mean, it blows me away. 4 ears of corn. 4 ears of corn, like $5 at the grocery store. You know, obviously when the corn harvest comes in, you can buy them a little cheaper, but 4 ears of corn is like $5, and they think that's a good price. It was $13 for $1 when I was running the corn stand at 12 years old in Janesville, New York on East Seneca Turnpike. And this is what is going to happen. You need to add, especially when, look at what gold just did. Right? Gold basically said, yeah, we don't like 1,800. That's not happening. That's not happening. Everybody's rushing in. We just had the best week of silver in, the second best week ever right here last week. You don't think so? You need to wake up, get your gold, get your silver, get it put away. And then you know what? I hope you don't have to use it during the next crisis. 800-951-0592. Jason and I will be right back. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason wrapping up this Tuesday. Got three great different items for you to choose from on the gold side. Why am I selling so many $10 Liberties? They're just cheaper. By the way, not nearly as cheap as they used to be. Getting back, these markets are quickly getting back to normal here, but $10 Liberties, 1 through 9, 1,085. If you buy 10 or more, 1,080. So still on sale, 2 $10 Liberties, cheaper than a 20. Otherwise, I would be running 20s right now. Buy as many as you can afford. Think about this. Savings, the way the banks do it, simply means you're losing money. You just don't know it. Right? Even today. Well, you know what? My $100,000, I'm getting, it's worth $104,000 a year later. Now, the problem is what you could have bought for $100,000 is now $110,000, $115,000. You're still losing money. Over time, gold keeps you whole. What do we mean by that? It'll buy you the same stuff. It'll buy you the same stuff. I mean, we just did it from when I started to today. It's worked like a charm. And guess what? Here's the sad part. Gold's getting ready to run again. So silver. By the way, silver, just to give you the same, silver was like not even $5, it was $4 and change when I started. So, again, I want to say, rolls of silver eagles were under $200. Heck, they were under $150. Now they're on sale at $610. A case of silver, if you want to save even more money, 500 ounces of silver, $14,995. Or the $10 Liberty gold pieces, 1,085, 10 or more, 1,080 at 800-951-0592. Or you can go to allamericangold.com and order that way. If you've never ordered before, it's so easy. I've got great gals. We got a new employee here. Kathy's with us. She's new. You guys we got people that have been ordering for us for 25 years. Help her. Tell her how to do it. She'll take it. Brittany's here. Arlene's having surgery, so Arlene's going to be off for probably the next month. She's getting some major back surgery. And Connie and her husband, they're getting ready to move, so she's not with us. But just call the girls and say, hey, I want the silver special, or say, hey, I want the gold special. That's all you need to do. And Jason, it's just that easy. And no bait and switches. If you got questions, we'll gladly answer all your questions. No pressure. Nobody's on commission here. But believe me when I tell you, no one's going to take better care of you than we are. 800-951-0592. And Jason, we're going to hear from Jay Powell later this week. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what he says about rates. I know one thing he's going to say: rates aren't going down. That I'm positive that's going to be one of the things.
Agreed. And he's not going to be talking about gold and silver, is he? We're living in the past right now. You buy gold now, a couple of years from now, you're going to be the guy bragging to your friends that you bought it in 2023, right, Joe?
That's it. 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're coming right back with the half-empty cup.